I live in Bath, and so there's one in Bath, and they regularly collect food for it from the local Sainsbury's and, the big supermarkets. So, and last week, I think it was, they raised or acquired tons of food to go into this food bank. So I think it's a very good system for the present day climate.
An estimated 15 million tonnes of food is thrown away each year in the UK, with an average of 50% of this coming from our homes. Despite this excess food waste, 27% of people within the Bristol area live in poverty. For many, they feel as if there is nowhere to go or anyone to turn to. A majority of these people live their lives in fear of not being able to provide essential necessities for themselves and their families.
Well, this is the Bristol North West Food Bank, and so we work across the northwest of Bristol. And the way it works is all the food that we have is donated to us by the public, by local churches, by local schools and businesses. And people are referred to the food bank by care agencies. So at the moment we have 80 agencies on our books, and they hold our vouchers and they give them to people in crisis. So we're only a crisis service, so we only will help people for a limited period. It's not a handout every week, so we'll help people 3 times within 6 months.
Basically, the food we get is mostly donations from the church, but now a lot of the general public are coming on board as well. We also go to local supermarkets, like Asda's one. We have to get authority from them. And then we have a few volunteers which go outside and ask people to just donate a tin or packet or something as they come out. So we get a few donations that way.
Many food banks rely on members of the public to provide food in order for their food bank to run successfully.
Yeah, we've been very lucky. We've had lots of people come under their own steam. Just ordinary people bring food to us. Different churches contribute. We've had donations from all the big supermarkets. At Christmas we did a collection at Tesco's at Thornbury, and they gave us, I think it was 2.4 tonnes of food, and yeah, we've been really lucky with donations.
Well, I first heard about the food store through my church, and that's who I donate through, the local church at Inns Court, and unfortunately there is a need, and that's why I like to come and donate whatever I can.
When people come into the food bank, we give them a nutritionally balanced package of food, and that's been designed by a nutritionist at the Trussell Trust, of which we're a franchise. So these kind of things are cereals, fruit juice, vegetables, meat, fish, tea, coffee and treats, that sort of thing. And when they come in, we establish from their voucher what their size of family is. So we'll have single people up to large families. So we have separate packing lists, so we'll give them a different quantity. So a single person, this is a form for a single person, so they'll just get a small box of cereal, a couple of tins of soup, beans, vegetables, meat, etc. Just small tins. A larger family, we sometimes have families of 8, will have obviously a much greater amount of food. So.
The Mead Food Store in Knoll, however, has a different approach to how they distribute their food.
We let our clients actually choose the food. We don't do the boxes because it's all about as well giving people dignity. You know, we think that's really important, and you know, we don't all like the same foods either, do we? So it would get wasted if you said to someone, look, you've got to have a tin of parsnips. You know, not everyone likes the same kind of food, so It is actually, within that range, they have to have so much protein, so much carbohydrates. The nutritionist has actually looked at all this to see what the human needs for 7 days. So it's all done on measurements, but within those carbohydrates, proteins, fruit and things, they will have a choice of, what they want. So, but yes, it's all very much about giving them dignity. So it feels like it's more in a kind of a store rather than actually going to a place to give out free food.
We see people across the board, so obviously there's families with very young children and babies right up to the elderly. Now we struggle to get a lot of people over the age of 65 for some reason, so I think sometimes they're reluctant to ask for help. But we have had a few, and we're doing a lot of work to try and see if we can get into that age group. But really we're open to helping people across the board from any background and from all walks of life.
We've had young people, usually young mums, going right through to people that are pensionable age.
The age groups that we have, interestingly, there's quite a lot of single men, I'm noticing more now, rather than, there are families as well, but there's more single men than I would have expected.
So we are planning to have another publicity drive just to make sure that everyone in the area, reaching out to younger and older and making sure that we're really marketing to the groups that need us.
Forthcoming changes to the benefit system is likely to see an increase in people using food banks, with an estimated 30% of benefit claimants likely to be affected.
We're finding people who used to be getting the benefit, the disability living allowance, they're being cut. People are going and they're going to Flowers Hill, and suddenly they don't have enough points where they've always been able to access it before, and that it's just been suddenly stopped. They're going to appeal, and this can take maybe 6 months to a year. So we're having those people come here as well. And also the fact that the job, the benefits office, they're being particularly, should I use the word harsh? I don't know, but if people aren't showing that they can evidence that they're getting a job, they will just suddenly stop their money. And some of these people have mental health problems, some have dyslexia, some can't use the computer, and yet they're all expected now to access jobs using those kinds of ways of communicating.
I think people are struggling with the benefit crisis, and they're just struggling. They're having more children, and really finding it really hard.
And there's a lot of concern about the benefit changes, and we've already seen, especially people with disabilities coming in who've had their benefits cut, or they've lost various bits of their benefits, which have left them in a tight situation. So there's all sorts of factors contributing.
Using the food bank helps you to get back to a routine and shopping.
When you're in financial stir.
Yes.
Yeah. This service is quite essential, really. It's the kind of gap that the gap that they know that they can access emergency food for a week, knowing that their kids are going to get fed.
I don't know what would have happened otherwise. We've exhausted our family's help, and this is somebody recommended them to us, and they were just absolutely superb. They have really been good. Without them, we don't know where it would be, because there is nowhere else to turn.